Damn, you're not going to get music transitions like that anywhere else, that's for damn sure. Guys, welcome back to Season 4 of the SLI League. We have AGV going up against Mineski. I thought it was AVG, so did the admins. Everyone had AVG, and then they just come into the lobby with AGV, and I'm like, holy shit, this is not the right team. But we are in the right place, rest assured, guys. This is going to be the last quarterfinal game in the simple single elimination bracket. So loser is out, winner faces up against Geek Fam, and that one's going to be happening not directly after this game, but a little bit after this game. I'm Mike Lars, going to be your caster through this game and the next. Mineski are easily the favorites here. For AGV, I have only heard of this guy, the captain, Aris. I think I've seen him stand in, I believe, for a handful of teams. I don't remember which ones because literally nobody can ever remember who stands in for what team. It's just not possible. Everyone else I've never heard of before. I don't know what sort of Chinese stuff is going on here. I thought that had its own region. Again, I have no idea. But either way, it's going to be really tough for AGV simply because they're up against Mineski, right? Like, Mineski are easily one of the best, if not the best, teams in the region. The other two teams that are still right now in this tournament and live, TNC and Geek Fam, aren't bad, but I mean, it's Mineski, so should be tough times had by the AGV side. Let's take a look at how this draft is actually going to play out. Lots of these supporty heroes, lots of forward positions being hated out. Still Tusk is in, still, there he is, Rubik is in. Those are kind of the bigger heroes that you will be willing to pick up should these other heroes, Night Stalker, Clockwork, Sand King, all be banned out already. Interesting to see this Tinker ban really early for the AGV side. Tinker is, for sure, a difficult hero to deal with. You need a very specific style of draft in order to counter him, but for a first ban, really, I'm not really sure about that one. Regardless, like, taking out a Tinker means that you yourself have more options as far as power level is concerned with your opening picks. Rubik Brewmaster is pretty damn strong, especially now going up against the Tiny. Now, Brewmaster is susceptible to being burst down. That is definitely a real risk, despite how much bulk he has. Tiny has the damage and then some. But down the line, when you are working with that haze, when you are working with the ability to just split, cyclone the Tiny in the air and just forget about him, that is like such a clean way of dealing with the Tiny. Now, of course, he does have the status resistance, which I believe does apply to the cyclone effect, but together with the haze, like, Tiny's got to deal with a whole bunch of BS from the Brewmaster. And with the Rubik pick, you not only set up for a good combo in lane, but you also prevent Rubik from going up against Brew, which otherwise is a really bad situation for the Brewmaster. So pretty clean start here for the AGV draft. Lots of options moving forward for sure. Mineski with the Shadow Shaman first pick, not a ton to read into with that one. Same thing for the Tiny, just generally powerful heroes for the Mineski side. With the ability to push, perhaps a little bit more incentivized here with those wards, with the fact that Tiny just blows up creep waves instantly. Toss still does damage to towers. I'm not really sure if they're going to go fully deep into a pushing style, but for sure the option is there for the Mineski squad. Overall, it's kind of a mirrored opening. Really not much to be seen here. Off-lane hate has... We saw a lot of it in the other half of the bracket. Not as much here, it seems. I mean, Nyx Assassin now going to be taken out, and I guess you could make the argument Sand King and Clockwork are both those type of heroes as well. But yeah, definitely a lot of options here. And still being left in the pool, actually, Nyx and Venge. Interesting. I mean, Venge is, like Tinker, it's an okay hero to have in any general circumstance, but usually banning out the Venge says that they want to have someone who's kind of vulnerable to that swap. I guess the easiest hero to name would be Batrider, but with the Brewmaster already on their team, that's not really super likely. It's also possible you pick up a Vengeful Core if you have a lot of minus armor going on, like a Vengeful Spirit safe lane, a Shadow Fiend or a TA for the mid lane, get a Vengeful Spirit, and you could just really make an easy timing push. But again, with this Tiny, it doesn't seem like that's super likely. A little more on board with the Nyx Assassin here that can kind of preemptively get on top of the Brewmaster before the Brewmaster has a chance to initiate. Definitely powerful combos there. But yeah, for AGV's bans, not convinced on the Tinker, not convinced on the Venge either, but maybe they're setting something up.
10 seconds remaining.
Chinese characters are their sponsorship.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, but No idea what these are. I'm a really bad Asian. I don't speak any Asian languages. Feels bad, man. They will go for that Tusk that I mentioned earlier. A really good hero to have versus the Shadow Shaman. You can save people up against tiny combos, but it's very difficult. It requires a Blink Dagger or just insane timing or insane luck. You know, that works too. Definitely a powerful hero to have defensively here. Together with the Rubik, kind of makes up for the Rubik's lack of offensive power. You can displace people, but unless you're working with someone like a Juggernaut, usually displacement isn't going to be doing you a ton of favors. And now we have the Earth Spirit for the Mineski squad. Pretty classic stuff here from Jabs, and it's maybe going to be a little bit of an issue for a Brewmaster. Again, lots of disables from this from this Mineski side. Brewmaster is going to have not a fun time there, and it does seem like Mineski are setting up for a lot of power in the early game. Obviously, the forward positions are going to be doing that pretty much 24/7, and AGV, showing their cards, do have the last pick, but also decide to pick up the Medusa. And I guess nowadays you can assume that Medusa is going towards mid lane and be correct like 99% of the time. So Mineski now know that it is up to them to apply that pressure, to just go ham and just push, try to just kill her off in lane. With Earth Spirit Shadow Shaman, that is incredibly easy. Even if the Tiny is going in the mid lane, which it doesn't have the best matchup versus Medusa, the ability to close in to and just chain disable the Medusa is so easy here for Mineski. And Tusk or Rubik, or maybe even sometimes both, will have to hang around that Medusa quite often if Mineski are really going to put her in their sights. Now, Tiny can help the initiation somewhat with that toss ability, but usually that's not really what you want to be doing. I'm pretty sure they could leave Tiny in the side lane, pick up a different mid laner, and try to apply pressure to the Medusa in a different fashion. Side note, I kind of miss Lina in the mid lane. I don't know why I just thought of that, but man, where's my Lina? I really miss her. She was so much fun to watch in the mid lane. It'll just be the PL for Mineski. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty classic counter to the Medusa, even though literally like 6 hours ago I casted a game where a team picked Medusa into PL. I don't know. But you get the Diffusal Blade, and you typically just tear things up. It is so easy to dodge Mystic Snake, and it's also pretty useful to have a tool in the mid lane that's used to jump over shards. In the later stages of the game, you can buff out the Drunken Haze with the split, with the Doppelgang. So yeah, you do have a lot of defensive options here for the Phantom Lancer, and that's kind of a side benefit. Obviously, the core benefit of this PL is that, hey, you're going up against Medusa, and to some extent the Brewmaster as well. Like, these heroes do not want to deal with a swarm of mana burners. That's essentially what it comes down to. This is going to let Mineski take it a little bit slower here, let them kind of take their time, and yeah, they will be still incentivized to push towers, but for the most part, if they do want to take it to the late game, between a PL and a Tiny, they should have some pretty good chances there. Still looking for the off lane for the Mineski side for AGV. Still looking for their safe lane. Should be a little bit of a space creator, maybe a little bit of an AoE type of safe lane hero. There aren't really a ton of those type of heroes. I guess like Gyrocopter would be a not terrible one. Would actually be a pretty good one, honestly, with the Rubik and Tusk setup already. Very easy to displace the enemies, or however you do it, snowball or telekinesis. Make sure that you get close to the enemies as Gyrocopter. If you do that, you're in for a good time. Can also maybe go for a Sven. Mineski will grab a Shadow Fiend, so it looks like we're going to have something a little bit different here. Shadow Fiend for the mid matchup versus Medusa, and Tiny, maybe with a couple of extra heroes, going to be pressuring the safe lane. Mineski definitely have some cores that are easily abusable here from the AGV side. Shadow Fiend is paper thin. Maybe it's a Shadow Fiend safe with Phantom Lancer mid. I feel like that's a little bit more likely. It's just impossible to gank a Phantom Lancer as a Tusk Rubik Medusa combo. You don't have that ease of initiation. It's just so hard to get in there with the snowball. Even if you do land the snowball in telekinesis, you have to like burst the Phantom Lancer down immediately, and that is not incredibly feasible. It's possible, but you do have to do a lot of work softening them up beforehand. A lot of extra early game damage here for the Mineski squad as AGV I do have to get a little bit of a better answer for this Phantom Lancer, I feel. Quap is a really good one, honestly. Maybe not like pushing the super late game, but is a decent hero to have versus that Phantom Lancer if you're looking to apply pressure early. How come no one ever picks Crystal Maiden anymore? Because if you go to the Dota wiki and you click on her and you look at the movement speed, you're like, what the hell? That has to be a typo, but it's not a typo. That's the reason why people don't pick up Crystal Maiden. If they give her 10 movement speed, she'll be picked up. I don't want to promise that, but I'm like 99% sure on that. Because she is slow as shit, man. It is insane how terribly slow she is. Alright, so it is going to be an Ice, Ice, Ice Tiny for that offlane. And looks like, Mineski, we'll see what they want to do with the Phantom Lancer and the Shadow Fiend. Obviously, Jabs is on the Earth Spirit because you're not going to not give him that Earth Spirit. And here we go. I don't really know. I do like the Queen of Pain as far as a space-creating type hero. Not really a traditional kind of last pick to shore up a Medusa draft. But as far as what the Queen of Pain does, like as far as how she usually operates in a game. Like, she's all about getting that tempo and making sure that you're able to claim a nice little advantage early on and hopefully snowball that. And in the late game, Queen of Pain is certainly not a terrible hero either. Get that spell vamp, get some lightning hammers going on, and yeah, you could be a nice little side hero to be, at the very least, a distraction here from the Medusa. Or at the very worst, for Mineski, an absolute terror. So AGV do have themselves a real draft. I do feel like they have a Medusa that is protected enough so that we can't say that they're just going to get screwed over in the early stages. They definitely have some game here, and in most, if not all, of Medusa drafts, it's all about how much pressure can the other team apply. With the Shadow Fiend, PL, and the Tiny, their late game is definitely not that bad, but they don't really want to risk it either. So let's see who's going to be playing what. Jabs on the Earth Spirit, Ice, Ice, Ice is on the Tiny. We got Moon or Nana. I'm going to call him Moon because his name literally says Moon, and that just makes sense. He's on the SF Ninja Boogie on the Shadow Shaman, and unfortunately for Mushi, he's not invited to the party. Feels bad, man, Bible thump. He's going to go all alone towards the top lane as the PL. On the other end, the AGV side, lots of... Wow, really? 100 ping? Dude, back in the day, if you had 150 ping, you'd be like, yes, my ping is so good now, I actually make movement commands and my guy listens. We've gotten really spoiled with ping now, let me tell you. Like, back in BattleNet days, you'd be so happy to have 100 ping. Oh, man. If you got a game where you, like, clicked and your guy moved instantly, like, you'd be so happy. But yeah, AGV don't really know many of these guys, so let's hope we have a good showing here. Because, well, I mean, again, it's Mineski. Nobody likes watching stomps, especially when this game, is one of the two on the day. We're going to be following the winner as they face up against Geek Fam later. And that game, usually games, I'm going to pull back the curtain here, guys. Usually games, if there's two in a row, best of threes, are scheduled for 3 hours for a best of three. So this one started like 30 minutes ago, let's say. Then like 30 minutes, 3 hours from 30 minutes ago is when the next game is going to start. This one's 4 hours. So if it's a 2-0, if it lasts, if these games are really short, then we're actually just going to be sitting here for like hours. And it's terrible, and it's 3 a.m. for me, and I don't want to be doing that. So AGV, please, please make sure that this series is going to be a little more interesting than people perhaps expect. Got Cirque on the Medusa. Following up is Ares. The only player that I actually do recognize here on the Tusk. Got Grim on the Rubik. Dencio is on the Quap of Pain, and BHM is on the Brewmaster. Mind blank items, Gaben. Dude, this is such like a tilting thing. I'm not really sure what the hell Valve did, but this is like so terrible to see because it's like, are they quick buying items? I don't know. Show all players' items. Do you guys really want to see all players' items? It's not really that interesting. Like, oh man, Queen of Pain got a Nulta. Oh, Stout Shield on the Brewmaster. Wow, look at it. We do have actually a Magic Stick on the Tusk. That's a little bit interesting. I mean, it's not a bad item to have on the hero, but as an opening item, it's generally just not good. How is 100 ping ever good? See, that's what I'm saying, guys. We've gotten really, really spoiled with our ping. Like, super spoiled. But yeah, Magic Stick as a first item, we don't really see that unless one of two things is happening. One, you know you're going up against a Zeus. Three things. Actually, just two things. You're going up against a Zeus or a Batrider in lane. You pick up a Magic Stick very early on. But, yeah, the third thing would have been Bristleback, but you're never playing against a Bristleback because he's not in Dota anymore. I'm pretty sure they removed him for pressing ceremonial reasons, so they you don't have to worry about that anymore. Even Magic Stick up against Bristleback is not quite as strong as Magic Stick versus Batrider. Where do I live? I'm currently in the East Coast of the United States. Got America. So it's 3 a.m. start here, and then it's going to be 7 a.m. for the next game. I know, right? Crazy. Dude, I used to have 1,000 ping. Dude, Battle.net was like the freaking Wild West of Dota. Like, this is back before they had bots and shit, like, operating those games, or, like, when you would go in and start downloading the game, you'd be like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna play some Dota," and then you'd just be kicked immediately, and then you would be like, "What the hell? Why was I kicked?" Because in literally every other Battle.net game, they'll let you download the map because it's standard. It's a standard thing to do, but not in Dota, man. You get kicked immediately, and if you do actually sneak in and are able to download the newest patch, then if anyone else is on your team, they will definitely switch sides or just leave the game because they don't want to play with a downloader. Like, you know, you guys are Twitch chat, right? You guys know all the bad words. A downloader is like the worst thing you could be in Battle.net Dota. That was bad. You didn't want to be a downloader. That was actually the worst. You could just like leave games and whatever, and there was no penalty. Again, this is like before everyone had like ban lists and all that stuff. Of course, I'm pretty sure like most of them didn't actually have ban lists. You would just go in and the host would be like copy pasting like ban list is active, don't leave the game, and then you could just leave and nothing would ever happen because it's like, is that really a shared ban list? They can't block everyone. Yeah, guys, I don't actually know where Cyclops is. I think he's working some other event. He's not available. If he was available, I could 100% assure you guys that he would be casting this game, and it would not be me, because he's the C guy. I'm not the C guy. I know very little about C Dota compared to some other regions. Stop complaining. This is your job. Dude, when have people ever not complained about their job? That's like part of the reason to get a job is so that you can complain about it. Like, I've never met anyone who has not complained about their job. Like, even if you like what you do, sometimes those like two loons that you work with are gonna infuriate you, and it's like, God damn it, Johnson, you're fired. Oh, I can't fire you. I'm not a manager. So they complain about it. As an American, I reserve the right to complain about literally anything, up to and including what I do in my free time and what I do for money. That is my right. That is what people have died for, so that I can complain. That is definitely what the First Amendment is. And I'm pretty sure there's like zero... Is anyone here actually from America? I guess it's still a reasonable time in West Coast, just 12:30. Oh my god, are we actually going to go play this game? Holy crap, guys. You can see Moon is testing the, you can see him moving back and forth. That's him testing the delay. It looks like he's pretty satisfied with it, and let me tell you, there are some heroes that you can play with delay, like, you know, Medusa. Other heroes, you can never play with delay. Try to play Shadow Fiend with delay, and you will get your ass handed to you, assuming the enemies are at all competent, and I'm assuming here they are. Deuce is going to be sneaky hiding in these trees. The lines are drawn. Purple seems to know that someone is in the area, and yeah, she is very much so correct. Auto kick for downloader still exists. Wow. I mean, I guess some people play Dota 1. I don't anymore. Dude, the shop interface and the item interface in Dota 1, ugh, barf. That's so bad now that I've gotten a taste for the good life. Observe rewards. Gonna be blocking out some of these camps. Mushi right now is up here alone. I don't expect him to stay that way. Although for sure Jabs is going to be on the roam. Shadow Shaman with no movement speed item right off the bat or anything like that is most likely just going to be camping up on top, and he doesn't have any detection either, so I expect this camp to stay blocked. Doesn't really give the team a lot of vision just because it's on the low ground. That's just the nature of how this spawn box works. But you know, still, it's decent to have Mushi get into a little bit of a man fight here with that Brewmaster. Brew's gonna take a lot of damage here. You don't want to underestimate the ability for Phantom Lance to just right click onto you. And BHM is actually gonna run the other way because Ninja Boogie is coming in. He is in a little bit of trouble. Shackle is leveled, and it will grab the Brewmaster. Jabs is here as well. He will be forced to TP out. That means he loses this pull, I guess we can call it. Tiny, though, is getting messed up elsewhere. He's going to go down, and I totally caught that, guys. So, Tiny did have a Blink Dagger, but is up against only one disable, so it looks like he just decided... Did I say Blink Dagger? I meant TP scroll. That is definitely not a Blink Dagger. Definitely meant TP. Guys, it's 3:30 a.m. Screw you. I get to make those mistakes. Tried to go for it, and Ice Slice, unfortunately, unlike the Brew, is going to be sufficiently punished. First blood is split between the two, and it will be a pretty, I would imagine, easy first kill to replicate. We can already see this Tiny with 0 armor is getting just picked at and prodded by this Rubik. Now telekinesed, not quite into tower range, but jarred off from the escape path and will die here to the Snake of Cirque. So very confident play from the Tiny. Like, being all the way down here without seeing the Rubik, without seeing the Tusk on map, it takes some serious balls. And he just used his TP to get back to the lane from his previous death, so now he's got to take this long walk of shame back. That's going to mean that the supports here for AGV are going to be free to move about, pull, or maybe even set up for kills. As I've watched Jabs fail his roll in, they do find BHM. Man, someone before the game was like, I hope your camera work is good. I'm like, God, I hope so too. And here I am, just catching all the kills. Thank you guys for tuning in. Welcome to game 1 of potentially 6 on the day with some supreme camera work. But Densio is going to be actually outlasted by quite a large margin. Looks like Moon did fix his lag. And a courier snipe from Jabs. Got him! Poor Frog swatted down, and that's going to be a Wraith Band. Dead for 3 minutes. Not really a terribly huge deal here. Ring of Kill will be delivered out at around the same time with all the components. But still a nice little pickup here for Jabs. And with the Arcane Rune, cost him pretty much nothing. Densio now is going to be forced to blink out. Does have 2 points in the Shadow Strike. And will be dodging the roll. TP is coming in. Moon wants this, and he might regret it. Shadow Strike level 2 does a lot of damage. Tower is not focusing on the Shadow Fiend. Moon's going to turn around, try to raise. Densio does land 2, but with the poison on him, will go down. As Iris now going to roll in towards Jabs and will claim another one. It's going to be a 2 kill for AGV, saving their Quap. And is going to be a nice little turnaround. This Tusk, man, 1-0 in 3, involved in 100% of the kills thus far. Mineski are going to give away quite a bit here. And that kill is, you know, a reason that's a big kill is because you take away the souls of the Shadow Fiend, not because you get any sort of significant gold or anything like that on the Queen of Pain. Still, CS-wise, she is behind. She got really banged up, and with no courier, means that she has to go all the way back to the fountain to regenerate. But slowing down Moon, even if it's just a little bit, is very much so worth it. Kind of interesting to see Mineski try to go for that in the first place. Obviously, they didn't see the TP coming in. It was kind of tucked in those trees there. But BHM now is going to dodge. Well, that seemed like a really tight cluster of illusions. Feels like usually they spread out more. But yeah, it's going to be kind of remaining elusive on that top lane. Not getting a lot of CS, but I mean, we can see what the CS is costing Ice in this bottom lane. Did die twice now. Again, the cost there really isn't so much the deaths as it is the time when he's walking back and forth in between the fountain and the lane. That's where he's not getting experience. And at this stage, dying is not a terribly huge deal. It's the lack of being in lane that's the bigger deal. Jabs is going to grab an Invis rune. So far, rune control pretty good from him. They're going to get onto this Brewmaster, and I totally caught that. God, so terrible. Dencio is going up against level 2 Earth Spirit. Kick immediately there with the roll. Second raise actually dodged by the blink. Close. Wouldn't have gotten the kill anyway. It's only level 2 raise. They're really trying their best to kill off this Quap. They're not really succeeding, but you know what? It's fine. Again, killing the Quap isn't really a terribly huge deal. What matters is that Moon is actually just sitting in the lane and getting CS. And speaking of sitting in the lane and getting CS, Mushi has got that in spades. He's got the Lance level 3 and Ninja Boogie, along with Jabs, have a really good angle here on the Brewmaster. Lance to slow him down just a touch. Roll in with Shackle. Ninja Boogie is tanking the tower right now. He should be able to pull it off. Someone should be able to pull it off. And don't die to this and make me look stupid. Okay, there you go. He's going to be just fine. On the bottom lane, though, Ice Ice is not just fine. Rolled in on. Does have a magic wand, but the arrow from the Medusa sneaks in there and kills off the Tiny. Again, very, very low base armor. Only 3 with the Ring of Protection and the Tower Aura. Another kill on this bottom lane, and Medusa. How many kills did she actually get? She actually got both of them. Acceleration for the Medusa. That's Mask of Madness earlier. And of course, Mask of Madness being such a power farming item means that every other item is also going to come that much earlier. But, I mean, as great as this bottom lane is going for the AGV side, still you have to look at the CS from the other lanes. Ice Ice Ice, even though he has died, is just smashing the Brew in the CS department. The Shadow Fiend as well is crushing it versus that Quap. Quap hasn't gotten like a single CS since she's returned back from her fountain trip. Like, not a single one. It is actually a little bit disturbing how much Shadow Fiend is getting out of this lane, just killing creeps, and how much Dencio is actually struggling here. Of course, he does have to worry about this Earth Spirit, who's kind of been a pain. No Tusk movement, no Rubik movement towards that mid lane just yet. But goddamn, Moon has got this lane on absolute lock. And this is something that I would expect from a mid lane matchup where one player is simply more mechanically skilled than the other. Now, I'm not really going to confirm that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying this type of lead usually is seen in that type of matchup, where you just have like a huge mismatch between the skill levels. Oh, can they insta kill the courier? They definitely saw it. Looks like they didn't try to go for that. Would rather try to kill off Medusa, who should be worth a little bit more than the courier, or even the stack. That's also worth more than the courier. A little bit stolen there by the Medusa, or actually claimed, but the Avalanche lands onto 2. Now they're rolling onto the Medusa, toss it onto the Tusk as well, and they're both taking an absolute truck ton of damage. Not dead yet, as Hellcase is going to stun 3. The Snowball is going to go towards the Shadow Fiend, it looks like. Cirque, though, completely out of mana, cannot TP out. One raise, that did not do jack because of the raindrop, but the second one will strike true. Cirque now in the trees, is juking for all she's worth. Jabs cannot quite find her, and it will be Medusa to slip away there. The stack, though, is going to be cleaned up here by Moon and those very balanced Shadow Raises. Giving the lane to Ninja Boogie to get to that level 6 mark, no way. Is he going to... Okay, you drop a shock like that, I expect you to try to go for that kill. But crucial experience time for the Shadow Shaman in that mid lane. Just pushing that level 6, which helps them take down those towers. And of course, SF, he's getting killed and those stacks while he's off lane, so it's not like he's dropping the ball either. Top tower was also taken by Mushi in the meantime. Diffusal Blade, huge item to have as Phantom Lancer, period. But up against Medusa in particular, the item gets so valuable. And hell, the earlier you get it, like the earlier you're able to just cast that slow effect. What is it? Man, I never remember what it's called. By the way, Rubik is dying. Just roll in and double raises. Like, this is more important, guys. This is definitely more important. Inhibit. I will try to remember that, because damn, if I don't remember what the item actives are called, then I might as well retire right now. Gotta get that inhibit. Like, heroes like Rubik, level 3. Not going to be level 3 once the Diffusal Blade comes up. Might be level 5. Maybe. Like, you're just so screwed if you get hit by such a debilitating slow. It's terrible. And, well, not only that, but there's also an abundance of movement speed here on some of these other heroes. Shadow Fiend going for drums and pushing that level 10 pretty quickly, but you know, outside of all that, bare minimum, he has the maxed out raises, so he's going to be dropping some serious bombs. I wonder what build Moon's actually going to go for. We've seen a lot of teams try to go for kind of early mid-game timing pushes, with a handful of heroes opting for drums into something like an SNY. Those heroes are usually going to be a little bit more so of the Razor variety, than of the Shadow Fiend variety. But for sure, these are viable ways to go. If you're looking for that kind of early game kill blow, why am I on buyback status? Then an SNY on really any hero is never really bad. It'll always do stuff for you. Sometimes it'll do more, sometimes it'll do less. Medusa trying to sneak in some farm for that Mask of Madness. Made a pretty good push towards it, but suddenly the map seems a lot smaller here as Eris is going to be grabbed with a shackle over the trees, roll in, and Hex toss in from a creep because Ice for some reason doesn't want to get close. Here comes Densio jumping right in, Sonic Wave combo onto Jabs. He's deniable though, and he will be killed off by Ninja Boogie, the dream of all supports to kill your allies. So Densio feeling pretty excited about that one. I guess miscalculates just a little bit. Ends up getting nothing, just uses his ultimate cooldown, roll in now towards Moon. Only a handful of supports. They will interrupt the Requiem for right now. He's going to try to TP out, and it should be a success. He will get back to the fountain. After that straight TP, another failed movement there from the AGV side, even bringing in the Medusa. Actually, she just walked in. She didn't teleport in, so that's not that expensive. But damn, it seems like off of those handful of early kills, we'd see how little that actually mattered right now. In the fact that Tiny is still very competitive in the CS department and really just has his mana kit up. Maxing out Toss, one of the other ones, but yeah, it's going to be just going for a burst. Offlane Tiny, you can get 1 point tree throw because it's just value, but definitely do want to be as bursty as possible. And it almost doesn't seem like, if you looked at his setup right now, say this is what an offlane Tiny looks like, you would not expect him to have died 3 times. So the early game kills here for AGV definitely paling in comparison to the amount of power Mineski are putting into this this type of push just 10 minutes in the game. Now let's see if Grim is an insane Rubik player. Fortification is now expent. Tower still taking quite a bit of damage from these hissing snakes. I don't think there was any chance of a deny there. He didn't try to go for it either. Just way too many illusions crawling around means that, hey, there's probably an Earth Spirit that is around this area too that created those illusions. Easy tier 1, and now the Phantom Lancer does have that inhibit from the Diffusal Blade. This is dangerous. This is super dangerous here for AGV. Their map control is absolutely going to crumble, and for a hero like Medusa, who's currently silenced with no mana shield up, you really don't want this to happen. That's not good. Again, you can't really blame her for that. Like, as Medusa, you have to take risks in any game, let alone this one, to find your farm. If you are not farming, you are losing that game. That is just a fact. And right now, currently there is one observer, man, I can't English right now, for the AGV side. And that is not really incredibly useful for the Medusa, simply because there's another observer right around the corner for the Dire. So yeah, Medusa, if she starts going here and starts farming these two, first of all, that's just like not very efficient since there's only 2 camps here, as opposed to over here where if you're Medusa, you can get all 3. If she is going to go in that area, like, she will be killed off very quickly. Stone Gaze is going to start pushing everyone else away. One raise does miss. Ninja Boogie taking a lot of damage. Off to the side, Avalanche Toss combo onto the Rubik will bring him down at the cost of the Rasta. Ice now on his way out. It looks like they don't really want to chase up this hill. Avalanche still on cooldown, but they're going to respect that burst damage combo. BHM does have a split right now. Does also pick up a Blink Dagger at a fairly good timing here, but so far has yet to use the split. They really need to use a split. They also really need to not lose Grim here. Avalanche Toss combo, not quite enough. Mushi not arriving fast enough either. Not getting a Rubik kill, like, does that really matter? They're still pushing this tower. Those shards did a thing. And this is also with no Shadow Shaman. He is going to be on top lane, actually, getting some more experience. Really like how this Shadow Shaman's finding so much time to just be kind of away from the fights and in a lane, getting some experience. It doesn't seem like a lot, but rest assured, having additional levels on someone, well, really on any of your supports, but on a Shadow Shaman in particular, can get so much extra value. Hell, it's like the difference between just level 1 and level 2 Hex can easily get you kills when you're talking about going into heroes like Brewmaster, a hero like Queen of Pain who could blink away, or a hero like Tusk who would snowball for a couple seconds and try to buy himself some time. You need those extra disables. They're going to kind of half-ass that push, will be pushed back at the end, but Ninja Boogie, if he decides to go down here, this tower is definitely going to fall. Ice Ice Ice, speaking of taking things down, does have his Blink Dagger. That is spotted by the Radiant Obs. They will be falling back. No dire vision in this area, so they don't quite know that this area is spotted right now. But goddamn, Tiny is working with an absolute cannon right now. Between the Ring of Basilius, the Soul Ring, and the Magic Wand, should be able to have almost 100% uptime in this kill combo. And sometimes it's not really the kill combo that makes the Tiny threatening. It's the fact that he can do that to you. That threat. That Enigma effect. Which means that right now, a hero would usually just be very comfortable poking at this wave. But because they know that Tiny's right around the corner, are you really going to make that commitment? Tiny does have the vision here. Aris is available to maybe give some save. A little bit of a boulder kick in. This tower is going to be tossed to death. Because, yes, toss does do damage to structures. I don't know why. It would seem like Avalanche would be the one that does damage. Like, just thematically. But no, Ice Frog is a mad genius. Immediately going to smoke up behind that. Again, less and less map control here for the Radiant side. Medusa is falling by the wayside in the farm department. And, like, losing all your towers, that's one thing, but losing farm on your Medusa, that's quite another. If you lose your towers but are still able to farm your Medusa, it doesn't really matter, but oh, she's going to walk into the wrong neighborhood. Avalanche, toss up, lands onto the Brewmaster actually. They silence him and kill him off first. Love the focus fire. Requiem stolen is going to push Mineski back a little bit as Shadow Shaman is going to fall. Cirque is pushing everyone else back, doing some pretty sizable damage here, but the Magnetize is starting to add up. Walrus Punch onto the Tiny is isolated right now, but Ice is barely taking any damage here. Will stack him up with the Avalanche and the toss, but now is really deep behind enemy lines. The help is coming back in with a smash onto 2. Sonic Wave is going to cut through us now. Mushi's going to arrive. The fun is over. Shadow Fiend and Phantom Lancer going to go to town on everyone remaining. Snowball in towards something will all be dodged by the Doppelgang for Mushi, and it will be a full team wipe in favor of Mineski. Moon survives. They pick off the Medusa. Mushi comes in with a freaking Shadow Blade, which I did not see him pick up, but that is okay. Mineski are going to claim a resounding win, even after that looked like, well, I mean, it wasn't ideal. They were able to kill the Brewmaster by kind of coincidentally tossing him in as soon as he blinked in. So that was unfortunate. That was just bad luck here for BHM. But even after that, like, their ability to separate Tiny from everyone else from Mineski, that was a pretty good setup there for AGV. Like, if things were going to go right, it would have been with that particular setup. Unfortunately, not enough pressure onto Moon. At this point, 1700 HP worth of hero with those spell casts to boot. That is amped up. And of course, Mushi wasn't even in that fight until the tail end of it. So it is going to be a resounding win here for Mineski, now pushing their lead up to 10k. Going to make all the little Smurfs, and with the Serpents in the Roche Pit, we'll put a quick end to the big guy. Ice is kind of playing things cool over in mid. Is going to get split upon, and probably will be going down here. But you know what? That's just space created. Ice already has the items that he wants. Did he just... Okay, no. He has quick buy on boots. You don't need more boots, I don't think. Probably are fine with the ones he has. But, yeah, Ice dying there. Not a big deal, especially since they're maybe going to get the Queen of Pain. 2 raises to land, and they have a third. Desio is going to go down to the Magnetize. Dude, this is like, you die right here, right next to your shrine against the dot effect. Like, that feels bad. Mushi going to find Cirque. Here's the slow. There is the Stone Gaze out, which is going to petrify the Phantom Lancer, and they will be able to shrine her up, but Mushi is still at full HP and still has the target in his sights. Has the Phantom Rush. So Reese, though, he's trying to buy some space here. The Medusa, oh, cannot buy space up against Moon. Coming in with the double raise. Will immediately get the kill. And here comes the Requiem. Where did he go? Snowball's buggy as hell, guys. So is the Shards, but they'll take down 2. 3, in fact, across the map. In the meantime, pushing is happening over in mid. Serpent Wards are not going to be Arcane Runed, unfortunately. But that's fine. They don't need them for this tier 2. They'll push in for the high ground. More than likely with the Aegis on the SF, with Mushi having everything that he has, with the initiation style on that Queen of Pain. Dropped down very low, forced to fountain right off the bat. Too bad these buildings aren't shrines, right? That would be quite nice. Do they even need Cirque Wards for this? They should drop it. Like, you don't want to bullshit around when you're talking about getting racks. And There they are. Toss in onto the Queen of Pain one more time. This time with the Hex there. They do almost save her with the Snowball, but it's just a little bit late. Even if they got the Snowball, I'm not sure they actually kill off the Quad. Mushi is just going to town on everybody. Cirque is trying to clear things, but gets tossed back in again into a Bull Charge and a Requiem this time. Oh my god, the combos. Mushi's in the back line, tearing fools up. This is GG, man. Like, even if it's like a 17k lead, 18k lead, just the demoralization win is here for the Mineski squad. You know, I've been actually playing a lot of Total War Warhammer. It's a great game. You could win by killing the enemy's army, but you could also win by like destroying their leadership and making them break off the battlefield because they're scared. That's like both of those things are happening right now. Like, Mineski are winning the game of Dota, but they're also winning the mental game of Dota just by getting these purely clean initiations off with this Blink Tiny. And it's gonna get even worse. Shadow Shaman went Medallion first, now into a Blink Dagger, which should be grabbed right after the Shrine's gonna fall. 22k lead. Wow, even using random neutrals to kill off Shrines. I don't think I've seen that before. Not like they needed the help. SNY is the pickup for the SF. Again, these super cost-effective stat items in these scenarios will just do so much heavy. Oh my god. Heart is... I don't actually know how cost-effective Heart is as far as health items are concerned. I mean, you can't really put a price on the health regen because it's such a unique effect. But dude's got 3,000 HP. How do you kill Mushi at all? Is that even possible? I mean, there's also 2,000 HP worth of Shadow Fiend. The Aegis is going to be reclaimed in just a little bit of time, but AGV have gotten 0 kills. Did they get a single one in that last fight? I can't tell. But I want to say no. Dude, Mushi is just going in. You're not invisible here. You're doing a really bad job of being stealthy. They will find the poor Rubik in the corner. Oh, no. Dude, that is... Oh, mercy, man. Mercy, please. Credit to AGV. Never give up, never surrender. Fight to the bitter end. But the end is coming. Rest assured. Frog on a mission. That was an ambitious attempt from the Frog. I'm not really sure if that was necessarily the plan. But Serpent Wards, SF, Phantom Lancer, everyone else just chilling in the background. Man, if you're not going to fight, just GG. They will Stone Gaze, and that will do about nothing. Denseo's going to jump in, immediately get silenced. They do finally get the split off for the first time in this game. Maybe they'll be able to kill off Ninja Boogie. Never mind. Well, Denseo's going to jump right in. Does have the Sonic Wave Shackle. Maybe Ninja Boogie is going to go down. Yes, they'll take down one. And now they're going to lose the game because they've already lost two. Tossing up the SF. Ice is trying to get Moon killed, you can tell. I don't think it's going to work because it's just too tanky as an Aegis. But, yeah, this game is over. Mega Creeps are going to be flooding the base. There's a 0% chance they're able to hold against those. And, well, they're trying. Oh, they got another kill on another support. Dude, you got to try for it, man. GG is called by Cirque. Okay, making sure that's not a BMGG. That... Damn, man, I was talking about that 4-hour split between this game and the next. And I'm like, dude, AGV, I hope you make this series interesting because I really don't want to stay up for 2 hours doing nothing in the middle of the night, in the middle of the early morning. But yet here we are, 23 minutes in, and Mineski just going off. Again, this is the type of gameplay you would expect when one team is mechanically superior to the other. It doesn't come down to the draft. That doesn't matter. It just comes down to how good are the players. And it seems to me like it's pretty clear based off of this game. But hey, there's another game coming, guys. This is the best of 3. Winner is going to be facing up against Geek Fam in hours. Jeez, kill me now. But guys, I'm Mike Loris. It's been a pleasure casting this game for you guys. Don't go anywhere. Game 2 coming soon.